I've kind of been waiting for this to materialize before I go all in on it, because sometimes I know where my emotions will take me if the information hasn't materialized enough, and I want to make sure I've got my facts in order. But I'm going to read this. Illinois HB 4876. I'm reading this. This is a legislation. I'm not opinionating on this at all yet. Bill title: amends the Abused and Neglected Child Reporting Act. Provides that abused child means a child whose parent or immediate family member or any person responsible for the child's welfare, or any individual residing in the same home as the child, or a paramour of the child's parent, denies the child access to necessary medical care, including but not limited to primary care services, abortion services, or gender-affirming services. Amends the Consent by Minors to Healthcare Services Act, specifies that consent to the performance of abortion services and gender-affirming services executed by a minor is not voidable because of such minority. Provides that a healthcare professional rendering abortion services and gender-affirming services shall not incur civil or criminal liability for failure to obtain valid consent or professional discipline for failure to obtain valid consent if the healthcare professional relied in good faith on representations made by the minor. Illinois House Bill 4876. This is evil. It has infiltrated the legislature in the state of Illinois. They are now telling parents that you will be guilty of abuse and neglect if you do anything to hinder your child's demand for abortion or gender-affirming care. To the state of Illinois, get your effing hands out of my family's business, away from my children. Mind your own business and your own affairs, because this is child abuse. This is neglect. And the direction that the state of Illinois is taking abortion, the pro-abortion stance, the pro-death stance from the state of Illinois, where they want to be the abortion destination for the Midwest, if not for the country. And now they are stretching that into the idea of gender-affirming care. That if I, as the parent, the person who gave my child life, want to say you will not mutilate your body to become something that in your mind you think that you want to be, I, as your caregiver, I, as the person who gave you life, who understand that at 12 years old, you think you're going to be a professional baseball player or the next Taylor Swift. I understand your intention. I understand your passion, but I also am going to make sure that you have a plan B. I'm not going to let you go through a plan A that's going to ruin your physical being, and the state of Illinois is going to protect you from me? Illinois House Bill 4876. Get on the phone today and call your representative and hold their feet to the fire. And I'm telling you right now, in Illinois, in Edwardsville, they are looking to put in unisex bathrooms in the high school in Edwardsville. That is Katie Stewart's district. Katie Stewart is a lead on this idea of tampons in boys' bathrooms. She's very, very, very interested, for whatever godforsaken reason, on where children use restrooms and how people use their restrooms. They are looking to, in Katie Stewart's district, to put in unisex bathrooms in the high school. Did you know that? You got a problem with that? You better let her know. If you've got a problem with that and you're in her district and you don't let her know, then it's on you. It's time to get up, it's time to speak up, and it's time to make these people who are representing us understand when they have gone way too far, with your emails, with your communications, with your contacts. You have to spread the word on this. The idea that gender-affirming care is a right of a minor child and that the person of authority in that situation is the state, not the parents? Fighting words, in my opinion. Ryan, you're in the state of Illinois and you've got children. How's this make you feel as a parent?
Honestly, it just makes me sad. I mean, they're coming after you, kids. You can say they're not all day, but the minute you give leftists, far leftists power, this is the kind of stuff they're doing. They are intending to enshrine what kind of sickness in your head and heart do you have to think, you know what I want to do with this power that I have now is I want to make sure that kids can have sexual reassignment surgeries. That's my priority. I want to make sure that that can happen. And I want to make sure that the parents can't get in the way. And even if they don't, I want to start introducing them to those ideas as much and as early and as often as I can. It's real sick. It's really sick. And the people who have these positions of power have got to at some point, and it may be years down the road, they're going to look in the mirror and God willing, they're going to realize that they have really screwed up. I don't know when that happens, but I pray that it happens real soon because it is super screwed up. And they use language like gender-affirming care, which literally means the exact opposite of the words that they're using. It is changing the gender. It is sexual reassignment surgery. That is the opposite of gender affirming. That is gender changing. As a parent, I can't believe I could look at my kid and say, the government is coming between you and I. Now, that won't happen between me and my kids, but the government is intending for it to happen.
I don't understand what they're doing. But my question to you, if you're a parent out there, if you're a parent in Illinois, how much farther are you going to let this government go? You have an opportunity every 2 years to change it up, and yet you keep electing the same people who now are going to get in between you and your kid, and they're going to tell you, you don't know what to do as a parent. We know. This is the ultimate arrogance, and like Annie said, this is evil. There's no other explanation for this. There's no other explanation for this. I work with kids on a daily basis. I'm a youth pastor, as many of you know, and one of the things that is like firmly ingrained in my being is who I am. My job is not to replace the parent. My job is to assist the parent. And I always, always, always look at somebody who thinks their job is to get in between parents and their children and wonder, who are you?
A predator.
Exactly. I don't like when teachers do it. I don't like when friends do it. I really don't like it whenever a parent does it. So when are we going to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. You all are out of a job. Go find something else to do. Democrat, Republican, whatever. I don't care what your political party is. This is not the role of the government. Stand up and do something.
It's really absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to read it for you one more time because we really need to understand what the state of Illinois is doing. And I have said this, we are the petri dish for obsessive, aggressive leftist woke policies in the state of Illinois because nobody pays attention when Illinois does it. I do. You do. And to a comment here from a listener, Scooter, of course, the last time this came up, the 3 Illinois residents wouldn't move out of Illinois. Give me a freaking break, Scooter. You bitch and moan about everything going on in the Republican-led state of Missouri, and you're still there. I'm going to fight. I'm going to bring a spotlight to this. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to give you opportunities to contact the people who are representing those areas in our listenership where you can go and be a part of a solution and fight back. The idea that you cut and run, that's what losers do, Scooter. And I'm not interested in doing that myself. I'm interested in shining a spotlight and pushing back and telling people to get back in the realm of reality. And I know that's a hard concept for some people who only give a crap about politics, that the only thing that you invest your time in is winning a political battle. I get that. I understand that way of thinking. I understand that it's prevalent, especially with keyboard warriors and reply guys that exist all over the internet. But that's not what we're doing here. This is actually meaningful conversation. This is actually being put out there for people in the state of Illinois who aren't paying attention to the ins and outs of a Democrat supermajority of people in the House and the Democrat supermajority of people in the Senate, and J.B. Pritzker, who thinks that the border is a problem because of Governor Abbott. These are the people who we're dealing with right now in the state of Missouri. And yeah, Illinois has voted, or excuse me, in the state of Illinois. And the people of Illinois have voted to put those people in charge. They need to understand that their votes do have consequences. And they sound a lot like Illinois House Bill 4876. Amends the Abused and Neglected Child Reporting Act, provides the abused child means a child whose parent or immediate family member or any person responsible for the child's welfare or any individual residing in the same home as the child or a paramour of the child's parent denies the child access to necessary medical care, including but not limited to primary care services, abortion services, or gender-affirming services. Amends the Consent by Minors to Healthcare Services Act, specifies the consent to the performance of abortion services and gender-affirming services executed by a minor is not voidable because of such minority, provides that a healthcare professional rendering abortion services and gender-affirming services shall not incur civil or criminal liability for failure to obtain valid consent or professional discipline for failure to obtain valid consent if the healthcare professional relied in good faith on representatives made by the minor. This is what a Democrat supermajority looks like. And yeah, I might be in the minority in Illinois. Yeah, I might have a big problem with what the General Assembly barfs all over the state of Illinois every time they pass legislation. And J.B. Pritzker from his high mansion in the city of Chicago, not in where the people have put the governor's mansion, in the city of Springfield, lords himself over everybody. Because why? The Chicago way. Because the Chicago way has gotten us to where we are. It's not what's reflective of Southern Illinois. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm out, peace out, I don't care about my home. I'm going to say I'm going to fight. And I will turn the lights off when I leave if I'm the last one to go. Proving that I want to continue my residence in my home where my children are raised 10 minutes from their grandparents because, yeah, family is more important than anything. Having my children be raised by family is so important to me that I'm willing to withstand the bull crap that they shovel out of Springfield with every piece of legislation that they write and Governor J.B. Pritzker has to sign in Chicago. Yeah, I'm willing to stay there and fight against it. And I'm not going to cut and run like a loser because, oh, this is not what's good for my family. I will fight. And when I've decided that Illinois has crossed the line and I can't fight anymore and I need to move my family out of the state, Scooter and everybody else out there who wants to criticize me for bringing a spotlight to these things and staying in Illinois, I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know because I'll be talking about it right here. When I leave, you'll know there's no fight left in me or there's no fight left in the state of Illinois. Are we there yet? We are not. I will fight back. And I hope that anybody who's listening to me right now, anybody who is agreeing with anything that I'm saying right now about Illinois House Bill 4876 will get on the phone and call their legislator in this break that we're about to take right now and make sure that they understand how pissed off you are that the state of Illinois wants to wedge itself in between you and how you raise your children. If you don't have children, if your children are grown, imagine what happens when your grandkids are part of the equation or your neighbor's kids are part of the equation. Your voice matters. My voice matters. Our voice matters collectively, but you have to choose to be a part of the solution. I don't have anything left to say. Or breath.